you said you want to ask me something.
Okay. Would you, on the beginning, okay. So, would you sell me LSD?
No, of course not. LSD.
Oh, come on, sell me some LSD.
I know. But only if you pay with Monero.
No, no, no.
No, no, okay. No deal then.
Okay, so come on, sell me it.
Okay, so here's a...
So you are giving me Monero, yeah? Which is illegal.
No, you are giving me Monero.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving you something else.
Okay.
Wait. Please
Okay,
don't look.
perfect. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So you will understand that at the end of the presentation, I will be talking about hacking law. I see hacking law as something which is not in fraudem legis, or you are trying to avoid the law, but something like you are trying to avoid state completely and avoid the interaction with state. So he introduced me, Juraj. I would consider myself mainly as voluntarist and crypto-anarchist. I studied law, but I changed the field and now I work in IT. And what I did was something from my work. I made a legal definition in Czech and Slovak Republic for cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. I was made popularization of the decentralized dispute resolution, such as Kleros, and I also was working on hacking law in perpetual traveling, explaining web of trust, reputation systems, and now I work on project UseDice, which will be generating arbitrators according to convention of New York Convention of Arbitration. So it will be possible to avoid state courts completely in civil disputes. I have to do a disclaimer as a lawyer. This is highly theoretical. Don't do anything which is written in this presentation until you want to get hurt by really evil people. And really just don't do that. So I start with philosophy, and this is the probably it will be the most boring part, and we will go through until the most exciting part. As I see a justice, I have to explain that in law exists positive and natural law. Positive is written, made by legislators and parliaments. Natural law is usually found by case and trying to find what justice is. And in a probability way, there is almost sure in long term that state will create injustice law, so positive law which is against the natural law. As you can see, it could be like massive taxation, bureaucracy, overregulation, war on drugs, and I think the main topic in few years will be the illegality of anonymous cryptocurrencies, and which is basically saying that we will forbid the mathematics and computation. That legislators will forbid that. And in that case, the freedom is usually made by secession. And usually when you say somebody else, no, I will not do that, this is basically trying to use your freedom. And perfect situation how to demonstrate that is Constitution of Liechtenstein, which says that individual municipalities shall be entitled to secede from the union, from the Liechtenstein. I have to say that Liechtenstein has 70,000 people, and even some street like that municipality can secede and create own state. I don't know how Czech Republic would end up if it would be in the Czech constitution. I think it would fall apart totally. and but thanks to legislators, we have exactly opposite what is in the Constitution of Liechtenstein, and Czech Republic has to be one union, and you cannot divide it. Okay, so no secession. I think that freedom, as Lydia thinks, Zavralova, is not given freely, and you have to fight for it. And there are two levels. You can engage in politics, war for independence and such stuff, but I would recommend usually do like have a business, find the best way how to optimize taxation. Risk calculation is really, really perfect, and wealth protection is really what can liberate. What can you liberate? Security protection. Try to move a different country. For example, I am from socialistic Slovakia, and I moved to Czech Republic, and I think that this country here is much more freedom than in Slovakia. Yeah, I am homeless man in Switzerland. Yeah, I don't have anything, so I travel a lot. Also, reputation system is building reputation system using cryptocurrency and cryptography. I have to explain the term second realm. Smuggler was talking about, and it will be really short intro. He made a book about first and second realm. First realm is what do you see usually when you go outside and you see classical businesses and everything is according to law. And second realm is the shortcut to describe that is, for example, darknet, cooperation within small groups. And here in second realm you can find really free market. There is no regulator and you can trade freely. Remember this first and second realm because we will get into that. I've read from John Hasna's Myth of the Rule of Law, and when lawyer reads that, when some lawyer reads this paper, you can find the link there. It's not really long. It becomes angry, or me myself, as considered as voluntarist, I started to laugh because he was like completely right. Court law, law is really arbitrary. Judge always make a decision on emotional and not logical base. And my goal in this presentation is like show you that your mind is the greatest enemy in this, and I will example from this article, and he had law is written in a really vague way, and it's really difficult to distinguish cases, and you can always fit the case and create decision in multiple ways, and you can decide as a judge as you wish. And they had example that a buyer attending an auction purchased the painting for a bid $100. When the buyer had the painting appraised, it turned out to be a last masterpiece worth millions. And both sellers and buyers got to the court, and lawyers had to find a solution how to solve it. One of the lawyers found a case Sherwood versus Volker. In Sherwood, one farmer sold another farmer a cow which both farmers believed to be sterile. When the cow turned out to be fertile, the seller was granted rescission and the contract of the sale on the ground of a mutual mistake. So contract couldn't be made because they were both mistake. It was mistake. But as it is vague, and you always find a different case law, and you can argue with the judge. Another lawyer found Wood versus Boynton. In Wood, a woman sold a small stone she had found to a jeweler for $1. At the time of the sale, neither party knew what type of stone it was. When it subsequently turned out to be an uncut diamond worth $70, the seller sued for rescission and claiming mutual mistake. And as you can see, it's really similar. It's, I would say, the same thing, and the court decided a different way. And this is normal in law. I argued with some students, and they said that this is absolutely normal and fine. Why the myth of the rule of law is considered to be like a law is, as I would make a citation, the observation that the legal system is highly stable is of course correct, but it is a mistake to believe that this is because of law is determinate. It is not. The stability of the law derives not from the feature of the law itself, but from the overwhelming uniformity of ideological background among those empowered to make legal decisions. Consider who the judges are in this country. Typically, they are people from a solid middle to upper class background who performed well at an appropriately prestigious undergraduate institution, demonstrated the ability to engage in type of analytical reasoning that is measured by the standardized law school admissions. So it is mainly, if you have consistent decisions, it is not because of the rule of law, but they have the same ideological background. And what's the solution? I think that you should avoid disputes on state courts and always use arbitration or mediation. Avoid completely interaction with the state and don't ask for any money, any social security, and try to solve your money for your living. Never sue state through state court. It doesn't work. I have statistics, it doesn't work. You can use crypto insurance and community support. If you don't have it, create it. Yeah, it's like Pavol was talking about that like last year, and I'm really looking forward for crypto insurances. And if you are trying to find justice, Shelling Point will be interested, but this will be another topic probably for another presentation. So we are getting into hacking law. Pavol will have the presentation. I've started with perpetual traveling and residency and researching the stuff, and he made it perfect. Like he is actually traveling through Europe. He's every month in different country. He's now Panamanian. He has Panamanian residency, and he made it like completely perfect example how perpetual traveling should be, and his presentation will be today probably at 4. I'm not sure. Simply by saying that you don't want a residence in this country, it has a lot of you don't have to go to war, you don't have to pay social insurance, health insurance, and this stuff. So if you consider yourself as libertarian or anarchist, this could be really one of the greatest hack for you. Okay, and what I've realized in the case that because I converted all my property into cryptocurrency, and I know it's volatile, but I can live with that. I've realized that if somebody sues me, they cannot take anything from me. Is there some lawyer here? Okay. Okay. Is it possible, if not, you can be silent, but is it possible to enforce me to pay in cryptocurrency during the civil enforcement? So, okay, so if somebody can hack me, or if I have a seed in envelope in my home, so, okay, no, I don't have. So basically it's not enforceable if you make proper preparation. More than 10% of population in Czech Republic don't pay debts. and they are in civil enforcement. So if I can say 10% of people is, I would say like 10% here, you cannot contract with them civil law because they will not pay you. Yeah, and for example, it is not possible to enforce that also because, for example, I have a dispute with a bank, and it takes 4 years, and we still don't have a decision, and both parties are really tired. And if they would say that go to arbitration, I would like lovingly take it. So cryptocurrency is not possible to get in civil enforcement. State cannot and never had control over cryptocurrency, and I think it never will be, even if they will have control over internet. So we are getting to proxy merchants. If you are doing like steps like me, that I don't have a property and I got absolute freedom because I cannot be subject of civil enforcement, you can use and operate through proxy merchants. You can also read that in the Smuggler publication. What I have to say, the civil obligations are dead, in my point of view. If I make a contract with you, just forget about it. I don't have to pay, and you will not force me. And a lot of people, this number will grow. People with this wealth protection will be growing. I'm sure that the richest people will do that in future. They already does through funds, but you cannot avoid criminal law, so don't harm anybody, because it's always possible to put you into cage. So we were thinking, I wasn't thinking a lot, but we were thinking, and we had a problem that first realm, you can imagine the first realm is the classical way of corporations and state, and second realm, which is dark nets, voluntary corporations, and you want to establish trust in the second realm. Conflict emerges within the state when these sets collide. For example, if some policeman trying to investigate some crime or victimless crime, it's usually that it isn't problem for anarchists on second realm. It's just problem for the first realm, and state is at least, as I can say. So I was thinking with friends, and we wanted to get as a result something like this: that how we can be sure that people in the second realm are not from the first realm as well. And the basic question could be that how can I obtain illegal content from another person and yet to be sure that person is not a state officer or trying to convict me from a crime. And goal was to create parallel market structures. Typical cliche is commit a crime and you cannot be in first realm. Yes, so if the mafia tells you that, okay, you can join us if you kill somebody, so this is typical cliche for how to getting into second realm, but we as anarchists can improve that as well. So we can create a proof of crime, still be consistent with, because law is inconsistent, but we can make it right. You can go through a principle of non-aggression. If that crime is victimless, it should be okay for us. It's no problem. If it is digital, it's the best way how to prove that somebody made a crime. And you can use cryptography and such stuff. So, And it's not easy to create like proof of crime, but we have a few examples which were really weird. For example, render child pornography is illegal in many states. So yeah, in EU it is. I think in the US it's not anymore. But if you have a computer and you use graphic cards to create child pornography, which is mathematical computation, it is illegal to have that content. So this is a little bit weird, but you can use that child pornography, for example, to sign some string and prove that you are not from the States. You can propagate a criminal act of another person, or last year Jim Bell was here and he was propagating assassination markets, and from my point of view it is against non-aggression principles, but assassination markets is when you can bet for example to kill Kim and paying like $1, and if many people are joining for money, it will be, for example, 10 million for Kim's head. And he was trying to build that thing. And he was giving cards, everybody in Hacker Congress, and everybody who paid him up, from my point of view, committed a proof of crime. I didn't, because he probably didn't accept Monero. As I thought about it, the perfect proof of crime would be making anonymous cryptocurrency illegal, like completely illegal and made as a criminal act, because as you saw here, on the beginning, I was trying to get some LSD, and but also another party trying to pay me with illegal Monero. So everyone was committing crime, and so we are getting into how this should work in law. Agent provocateur is inciting agent, and he is trying to initiate a deal with another person, and it is forbidden in legal system at all. Like the state officer shouldn't sell you drugs and trying to, hey, come on, kids, buy cocaine or something. It shouldn't work that way. Here are some cases telling about agent provocateur. You can find more information there, but we have I can say about Taxiare de Castro. It was a case when one guy organized selling of heroin, I think, and police agents were like always trying to get, they were trying and initiating all the business, the selling of this heroin, and they were really like annoying, like they were clapping at his door and come on, get us, we want to buy some heroin. And after all, the Court for Human Rights said that this is inciting agents. It's not permissible by law or it couldn't be accepted by law that police officers are trying to buy heroin and then trying to convince these people. Because the main point is these people never initiated the crime and had no intention in that. There are more information. Okay, and so why I think that anonymous cryptocurrencies are anti-fragile? You can read in Nicholas Taleb work that he divides things into fragile, robust, and anti-fragile. And typical example of anti-fragile thing is life. It's always developing and creating new structures, new ways how to copy itself, and why I think that anonymous cryptocurrency is anti-fragile is that because they forbid it, we should welcome it, because it will be perfect proof of crime. So if we are going to use that in the second realm, it should be like perfect identification that, okay, you are accepting or you are giving me Monero, then okay, I know that you are not from the state. So this is, and actually they cannot even, this should be the goal, that we should welcome, we shouldn't be afraid of that they are going to forbid it, but instead of that, welcome that. And here is contact on me, and we can start with questions.
Okay, thank you. Before, yes, I will give you the mic. You will all have a chance, but I think it would be useful to play the scene from the beginning again and explain which parts of are proof of crime and how. So you wanted to buy some LSD?
Yeah. I want to buy, but I'm trying to buy, but the second party is not going with that story.
Yeah, so I said no.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm trying again. Yeah, so will you buy it?
Definitely,
Come on.
if he would be a
sell
police agent, then he would be an agent provocateur, because he's kind of annoying and still
and
sell
sign,
me some.
exactly.
You know those people that always come to you and say, "Oh, do you have some weed? Do you have some weed?" That's agent provocateur.
So I would be agent provocateur. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course I would only sell it for Monero, so he can be sure.
Yeah.
If Monero is illegal, that I'm not a police agent, because a police agent would never use something that is illegal. So in a case when Monero is illegal, I will prove that I'm not a state agent, because I would never suggest using something that is illegal and bad. So that's our explanation of the story, and now we had a question here.
Yeah, so states historically have been breaking their laws in order to enforce their laws. So how can you prove that proof of crime is inclusive? You can be included into the second realm and be sure that you are not part of the state.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's risk calculation, but as I said at the beginning, there is myth of the rule of law. So they can patch this bug by saying that, oh, you were pretending that you hadn't that intention to sell it, but actually they can say that you had that from the beginning, but you were just trying to say no, because it would be like seen. It would be seen by the courts that you didn't have that intention, and then that intention is really important part of that. But you can never be sure by state. I had a case in a constitutional court. I published that the constitutional lawyer canceled my application, not application, but appeal, and he argued with the case law, which said the opposite. So they can even, they just don't care. They will create any decision as they wish. But if they want to stay consistent, I don't know how they will solve that problem with proof of crime. Yeah. But you can say that okay, you are not consistent, and you. There is another way. You can also say that these people were committing a crime, and the state officer cannot do that, and he should be like fired from the office and criminally charged as well. He should, but probably they will not do that.
Also, that just reminded me of your or an idea that appeared around here, which is proof of bribe. So when so you create an incentive for the judge to decide in a certain way, and then he will be automatically anonymously bribed. So then you can appeal that the decision was not not independent, because you can prove that the judge was bribed, because he was paid in Monero. So and he can always claim that. So that's another way to kind of show where the weak point is.
Yeah, you can bet on the decision of the judge, and he's the only part who can decide how the case will end. So you can technically bribe a judge with anonymous cryptocurrency. You can prove that you made that bribe and that and somebody took the money from that anonymously, and you can say that the judge wasn't that just could be biased. But anything is possible in states.
So is the proof of crime becoming less effective? For example, the Dutch police, they got access to the Hansa market, and they've been running this site for 6 months before shutting it down, basically entrapping all the people in there just to gather more information about them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically committing the crime already. So
yeah, but this is nice example, because they could say that they monitored the situation. They didn't create the site. They didn't operate it.
Drug trade, right?
Huh?
They facilitated the trade of drugs on the market.
If they created the offer, it was.
They facilitated the trade. I mean, running a dark net market is illegal, but they still ran the market for 6 months. They're basically committing a crime, right?
Basically, if they offering drugs, yes, it should be like.
They weren't offering itself; they were facilitating the trade, which is also illegal.
I don't understand. They had operating servers, and they operated
basically
that, or just monitoring that.
No, they actually operated it. They kept it running.
Okay,
They were in full control of
that
the site
should be
for 6
illegal,
months.
in my point of view, and I think even legal scholars has to agree that if the government is operating dark market side, it's offering service for selling drugs. From my point of view, it's like what state did was like shocking, at least.
Yeah, and people got arrested. So I mean, the proof of crime is not really effective anymore.
Yeah, but probably nobody used that, like this argument. I must say that you come to the court and you will have to explain the judge that come on, the police was operating all this thing. They were like creating the platform for selling drugs and operating that, and this is absolutely shocking. I think this.
Yeah, but still the outcome is going to be the same, right? I mean, the people who bought
They
the drugs
shouldn't
are going to jail, and maybe the police officers are going to be replaced, and then you have other police officers in the place.
Yeah, but
so it's still the same result.
there has to be okay. But as I said, the important thing is the intention. From my point of view, that operating the site is illegal, and everything based on the poison tree theory should be illegal evidence. But if they are creating probably making the dark market this way, that nodes are communicating that are you selling weed? No. Are you selling weed? No. Are you selling weed? Oh yes. So I think in that way it could work that no, we didn't initiate it, the selling. But if you have the on dark market page that you are selling something legal, I think it's initiation. So this is this was really a long part of that, but the most important thing is the initiation of the crime. So this is my point. If they see you as you didn't have intention to sell it and they were like trying to push you, it should be all right.
Would you say just a little bit about the alternative structures you mentioned in your solutions slide? You talk about alternative dispute resolution and justice systems.
Yeah, actually, I can divide it into two separate topics. One is absolutely decentralized justice, but you have to put deposit in that there. And as example, I think it's creating Kleros. I have no tokens in that thing. It's ICO, and I'm not a fan of ICOs. But the idea which they had is, from my point of view, amazing. They are creating anonymous judges, and they are trying to find the objective solution or decide the case on the objective manner through Schelling point. It's game theory that judges cannot communicate. They have deposit that as well, and they have to decide, and one case should be decided in one way through all judges. If there is difference, the small minority has different opinion, probably decided arbitrarily based on the different view of the justice, and they are penalized by that. And the second thing which I'm working on, it's operating in current legal system based on the New York Convention. Everybody here can decide civil disputes. Even few lawyers know that. That if me and Uri has had some disputes, and we agree that you will be the judge of that case in private sector, it has to be about the property. Yeah, so you can be the judge, and your decision is final, and no state court cannot say that. Cannot make findings or different statement that you did. Only if that contract wasn't valid about declaring you as the judge. Okay? So basically, I don't know why people don't use that. I think it's a great idea. You don't have to use state courts, which are really slow. You can make arbitrators yourself trying to. I think many businesses use that, but in civil, we people don't know about that usually. Yeah, it's actually 60 years old thing. Probably merchant law is the typical example. And then the state was involved into civil cases more and more. And now if you decide, it's up to you.
I'd like to come back to the proof of crime stuff.
Oh, smuggler, hi.
Hey. This is actually a really dangerous idea, because in a lot of legal systems, stuff like poisonous tree doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So for example, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in France, in Belgium, Luxembourg, in Switzerland, in Austria, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter where the evidence comes from. It stays admissible, even if it has been created in violation of the law. That's number one. Number two is, there is, in a lot of countries, you may initiate a lesser crime to create evidence for a bigger crime.
Mm-hmm.
You usually have to go to a judge and ask for permission to do that as a police officer, and then you can do that. And that is where a lot of the sting operation comes from. And the third part is the actual definition when a crime has been initiated, or it's the entrapment clause basically. The entrapment clause doesn't actually exist in places like Germany.
Yeah.
A police officer may actually convince you that a crime is a great idea, help you to set it up, and then arrest you and throw you into jail.
Okay.
And the FBI is actually, they're using an interesting strategy there, because the limited party in that area is often only sworn-in officers. So they outsource the entrapment to private investigators, and then just collect the crime. You go to jail, and you as a private investigator get between 50 and 150,000, which is an awesome business if you're an asshole.
Okay, yeah, perfect point. That's the difference between legal, between states in law. We were talking about that, and there is also one hack, but it's really not a nice solution. You can bet on the death of the prime minister of that country in which you are committing that crime. So basically you would want from another party the proof that they paid for a killing of the, for example, prime minister or their bosses in the police. So do you think that the police officer during the investigation of heroin during the heroin would pay like $1,000 or $2,000?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. In Germany, we have a huge scandal right now because of the Amis Amri terror attack, where there was a guy driving a truck into a Christmas market, killing whatever many people. And it's coming out that he was actually led by German intelligence and supported in that, and nobody gives a fuck.
Okay, Germany is a really weird country. In typical way, legal scholars says that agent provocateur is really forbidden. You cannot initiate the crime, but in Germany, like, yeah, okay. So I'll try to avoid Germany. But no, legal scholars agrees that this is not permissible. Even in here in Czech Republic, I've read the highest court decision, and they don't accept that. Usually, they were, for example, they were sending from the control of they were sending children to the store to buy liquor. And they said, no, you cannot do that, actually. Probably yes. Fine. I said it on the beginning, move to different country.
Actually, you can hire your own child agents now because it's settled. So if you do something really dirty, I would recommend 14-year-olds because they could not get like sentences in criminal courts. That's actually a really great idea. No, okay. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Well, okay, but how about the structure, the incentives in some, not let's of the Mr. Babiš, but let's tell some, it's our PM, yeah, he's handing out, candy or stuff. But maybe incentives that you would pay, for example, to hack Intel, and I'll explain why Intel, because there are backdoors in CPU architecture, and the crime part would be like shit on the desk of the Intel CEO, so you also stole the secrets how to control x86 architecture, plus you would commit crime of defecating on a table, which would actually feel like social purpose of like crypto anarchy, and also do some crime, or for example have like assassination markets to have hacking markets, for example, to pay money that you would hack FBI or something and release the documents. Is it?
Yeah.
I was thinking like in your direction that if it is possible, because someone would have to judge that was the hack, that someone hacked sufficient amount and now it's creating centralization. But if it is like a possible way.
I think yes, because you are trying to making crime somebody else and you are paying for that, so that's also crime. Almost everything is crime now. Okay. But actually, I would like to say the one thing about the proof of crime in that way, that if somebody, if some state officer is creating and initiating the crime, it should be in all newspapers that state are selling heroin and cocaine and this stuff. And this should be like in media, but as I started in the media with the video of media, probably will not get there. But from my point of view, is absolutely shocking if the state who is putting people into cells because are selling drugs, they are selling drugs. Yeah, so it's shocking.
Okay, and you in the first part you explained there's like 1964 convention. Also, there's a a voluntary commercial code created by United Nations? Would you like recommend
No,
it?
everybody.
ECIC guess
No,
it's not ICCS, the International
you
Commercial.
mean about arbitration?
No, it's actually commercial code which explains the rules of delivery and deposits, etc. So would you recommend using?
No, I don't understand question again.
Okay, well, there's like in Czech Republic, there's like commercial code or občanský zákoník.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Civil code, yeah.
But there's also the international versions of it, which is like that you can use it.
Mhm.
Would you like recommend like using the arbitration with this together?
Oh, okay.
Because it's like it's kind of open standard.
You can also choose the law. So if you want, you can in your arbitration you can choose that I don't want to be dispute to be solved by Czech civil code, but I want to be to have the dispute be solved by United Kingdom civil code. But even if there is even one thing, and this is called equity, that you can decide. You can decide the law will be the law or the justice will be decided by judge itself. So you can sign a contract that you will decide our dispute by your by your best intention and knowledge and such stuff. So it's really up to arbitrator how to. It's up to you how to solve this. You can choose civil code, another country civil code, or
UN
equity.
Or equity.
Yeah.
Do we have any other question? Great, because we're almost out of time. So thank you very much for your interesting talk. And up now we will have this. There will be a break in this room, but we have some great program. There are two workshops, one about Lightning Network in the hackerspace, which is downstairs in the basement, and another workshop about writing Solidity smart contracts, which is in the small hub that's in the ground floor. In Studio 1 we have a talk by Jörg Platzer, and in Slevarna there is Sonia Perstek from BitNation. So choose wisely, and thank you again.